Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and we're going to deep dive into this video article that says why the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle films were so bad. So let's get into this article, shall we? Here's why the Michael Bay produced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies didn't work. Love them, loathe them, few directors have shaped action cinema like Bay has since he left behind the world of commercials and music videos to go and make feature films in the 90s. His storytelling style is distinctive, rapid fire cutting, sweeping camera shots, frequent explosions. It even has its own name, Bayham. Others have tried to emulate his approach, but few have succeeded, resulting in blatant Michael Bay knockoffs of the 2012 titles to flooding theaters over the decades. Recognizing his talents, Steven Spielberg reaching out to Bay about directing a live-action movie based on the Transformers toys and cartoon series in 2005. After a bit of convincing, Bay signed on, and the film hit theaters in 2007. Where reviews were mixed, that didn't stop the original Transformers from becoming a massive hit for Paramount on the box office. So, when the studios acquired the rights to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise 2 years later, they didn't wait long to bring in Bay as a producer, in the hopes that he would work his magic again. On paper, Bay's sensibility aren't a terrible fit for the property. Certain iterations have been darker and more serious than others, but in general, the 80s Bourne branded lends itself to his blend of juvenile and bombastic action. In spite of this, 2014's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles failed to scale the same height at the box office as Space Transformers had, and I lost my place. Exactly. Okay, and did exactly wow audiences, earning a B cinema score, much less critical. In sequels, Out of the Shadows then tried to course correct the series by adding several fan favorite characters into the mix 2 years later, like Bebop and Rocksteady. It didn't work, however, and the film made under half of what its predecessor did in theaters. Today we're looking at what went wrong. Bay TMNT movies kept trying and failing at pleasing fans. I have to say the ending, like the the 80s Ninja Turtle theme song getting remixed and having a hint of the ninja rap in there, I loved. Outside of that, I can understand why the Bay Turtles gets as much backlash as it gets, because it ain't as good as the original two, or the original Ninja Turtle films or the cartoons, in my opinion. But I think it's still better than like Next Mutation and Rise of the Ninja Turtles. Anyways, even before its release, it seemed that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot was doomed to irritate fans of the property. The controversy heated up in March 2012 when Bay announced the Turtles would be members of an alien race in the film. He walked back his comments in the wake of the ensuing backlash online and confirmed that the idea had been abandoned after an early script drafted by John Applebaum and Andre Nemi leaked online later that year. Then controversy reared its head again when Transformers star Megan Fox was casted as the headshot reporter April O'Neil, a role that longtime TMNT creatives like co-creator Peter Laird felt she didn't make sense for it. I have to say that in the original Ninja Turtle film, they had April make a crack to Furman saying, they're aliens, that's dumb. So I like how they made fun of themselves there. But the fact that I didn't even know Peter Laird even said that the whole April O'Neil casting for the Michael Bay films didn't make sense. That I didn't even know that. That's news to me. That's interesting. I did hear the reason why Megan Fox wasn't in Transformers 3 was because her and Michael Bay got into a disagreement, right? So they parted ways. And Michael Bay giving Megan Fox the role of April O'Neil was a way for him being Michael Bay, to smooth things over with Megan Fox. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's entirely true or not, but that's what I've heard. Anyways. Her involvement was subsequently overshadowed by Will Fisher's being cast as Eric Sachs, a character who was originally meant to become the movie's version of the Shredder, in what many fans saw as an attempt to whitewash the traditionally Japanese antagonist. The plot point was later changed during reshoots, which cast Tohoru Masume to play the true Shredder and made Sachs his adopted son instead. The storyline feels distinctly tracked on in the final movie, and the reboot as a whole plays out as an uneven stitchwork of ideas from either earlier script drafts, perceivable photography, or post-production. In the light, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles acts as a cautionary tale about why creatives are better off committing to their versions when reimagining to a beloved property, rather than continually changing it in an attempt to please fans. When this doesn't happen, you get something narratively jumbled and uninspired like the film. So, I can give them that. Base TMNT movie didn't know what to do with their characters. Hoping to produce a better outcome, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which is also the name of a game that fans speculated that Michael Bay took inspiration from the Out of the Shadows game for his movie, which the Out of the Shadows game is great. It was a great game. My only gripe with that game was it was too damn short. Outside of that, it was a perfect game. Anyways, getting back to the Out of the Shadows, the movie aspired to be more faithful take on to the franchise out of the gate. It appeared to be heading in the right direction during casting, with Arrow star Stephen Amell signing on to play the human vigilante Casey Jones. Stephen Amell wasn't a bad Casey Jones. I just didn't like how they exactly wrote Casey Jones. So I feel like they kind of did a disservice to both Stephen Amell and Casey Jones, in my opinion. Brad Garrett lending his voice to the power-hungry extraterrestrial Krang, and Gary Anthony Williams and wrestler Sheamus playing the mutated henchman Bebop and Rocksteady. Even Tyler Perry unexpected casting as Baxter Stockman felt like an inspired choice for the over-the-top mad scientist. I have to say, I didn't know how I would feel about Tyler Perry as Baxter Stockman, but I really did enjoy him as Baxter Stockman, and I would have loved, in a world where we got a third movie to the Bay Turtles, right? I would have loved to have seen Baxter Stockman, Tyler Perry's Baxter Stockman, as Fly Stockman. Because, with the exception of, the 03 Turtles, the two Turtle series I've watched that had Baxter Stockman in it. The 80s Turtles series, which I am in the process, and by the time I'm recording this video, I'm in the process of finishing the 80s series. And I've watched a complete 2012 series. But in both series that I just mentioned, 80s, 2012 series, Baxter Stockman was a human, a mad scientist, worked for the Shredder, turned into a mutant fly. So I would have loved to have seen Tyler Perry's Baxter Stockman get turned into a mutated fly. So, that said, continuing. On top of all of that, Brian T. was brought aboard to play the Shredder in a far more substantial role than the character had in the 2014 movie. And there were hope the sequel would follow Fox as April O'Neil to do more in a way of actual journalism and investigate work at this time. The general consensus of Out of the Shadows is better than its predecessor, yet it still struggles to do anything meaningful with its many characters are balanced out their screen time. Far too often, the humans, like April, feel inconsequential to the story, and once again the Shredder is stuck playing the second fiddle to the supporting villains around him. Most notably, the amusing but one-note bebop rocksteady. There's also the matter of There's also the matter of ML's Casey Jones, a younger and more clean-cut version of the character who's robbed of most of the qualities that makes him interesting and saddled with an arguably unnecessary origin story. And that's where I was coming from. Like, they made Casey Jones in that movie want to be a cop, and I don't think there's anything exactly wrong with that, but the execution didn't do the character of Casey Jones or the actor Stephen Amell any justice, in my opinion. Even though I think Stephen Amell did great with what he was dealt with, but he was dealt with a disservice, in my humble opinion. Anyways, in their defense, space movies more or less nailed the turtles' personalities. Yet even the heroes in Half-Cell are hurt from a character development standpoint from having so many other players to compete with on the screen. Base movies, TMNT movies couldn't figure out their tone. Prior to the release, Base TMNT was described as a grittier take on the franchise. TMNT co-creator Kevin Eastman, who I met in March at C2E2, that was awesome. Total bragging rights. I don't have to brag, but I totally am. I met Kevin Eastman. Now what? sorry. Kevin Eastman said that the reboot was looking to the bone crunchy martial arts fighting from Let me rephrase it. Co-creator Kevin Eastman said that the reboot was looking to the bone-crunching martial arts fights from modern action films like The Raids for inspiration. And both director Jonathan Lasbesman and co-writer Evan Dockery were known for making rougher genre fare like Battle Los Angeles and Snow White and the Huntsman. The actual film plays out as more of a tone mismatch, awkwardly shifting from straight-faced action and drama to sandy humor, most of which involves objectifying Fox as April. As Raps Alonso Durald put in his review, the movie takes its characters and the premise seriously until it doesn't, and that operates at two speeds: Taurus and Hare. If the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot tried too hard to be serious, Out of the Shadows director Dave Green went the opposite extreme with his movie. The sequel has the frantic pacing and wacky comedy of old-fashioned Saturday morning cartoon TV show. It works in fit, but becomes overwhelming when you combine it with the Bay-style bombastic set pieces and the sheer number of characters the film throws off the wall. Out of the Shadows might be more totally consistent with its predecessor, but only serves to highlight the absence of a cohesive vision and these movies' inability to decide whether they're geared more towards kids or teenagers. So, I might have to like give them a watch again because it's been mainly a while since I've seen the Bay film, so I don't entirely remember how the tone shifts work. So I gotta see that. Anyways, the Turtles design didn't work. I remember that being a backlash too. My sister said my sister being the one who initially got me into the Ninja Turtles. My sister said that the Bay Turtles look like giant cockroaches with shells, and she refused to watch them. I mean, I can see that, and I can understand why she would not want to watch them. So, like, I can't really fault anyone who didn't want to watch them for the look. Anyways, as fantastic as the martial arts choreography is in the 1990 live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle film, and to a lesser degree its sequels, it's limited by the fact that the Turtles performers could only do so much while wearing their bulky practical suits. That, I'll give them that, but at the same time, now if studios did practical suits for the Turtles and Splinter, they're in the perfect time to do that, because practical suits, a little bit of CGI to help them might like do some more like over the top moves. Dude, visually could be the best Ninja Turtles movie if they combined the practical suits with a bit of CGI. Dude. Oh, I'm telling you. Dude. That would, like I said, visually that would be a badass Ninja Turtle film. Ain't gonna lie. Anywho. By going with CGI rather than practical effects, Bay's reboot was able to better showcase the titular characters' athleticism and physical abilities. And unlike the Autobots and Decepticons seen in Bay's Transformers movies, the Turtles were played by their voice actors in motion capture outfits on set, giving them some real weight and allowing for more natural interactions between them and the rest of the cast. For less successful are the Turtles' designs. Shortly after being unveiled, the characters were turned into a meme comparing them to a photorealistic version of Shrek the Ogre, and their appearance wasn't all the less unsettling in the final version. I remember, which kind of reminds me of Doomsday in Batman vs. Superman. I know this is Batman vs. Superman isn't Ninja Turtles, but I remember when like Doomsday was in the promotional, like the trailers for Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. I do remember hearing people say that Doomsday in there looked like a crossbreed between Shrek and a Ninja Turtle, and I burst out laughing so loud when I heard that. My mom thought there was something wrong with me with how long and hard I was laughing. But they're not wrong. And honestly, they're not exactly wrong about the Bay Turtles either. They kind of do like... They could be related to Shrek. Anywho. Even 30 years after the movie's release, the Turtles in the 1990 film look more like actual giant turtles, courtesy of the terrific costumes created by the Jim Henson Creature Shop. Than they do in Bay's movie. This was such a issue with the 2014 reboot. Out of the Shadows included it as part of the subplot where the Turtles discover a way to turn themselves into human using Krang's mutagen. The GG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles may be less limited in terms of their facial mannerisms, but it's the puppet Turtles' emotions that comes through stronger. And that's true, which is also why I was saying too, you bring back bring back the costumes, the actual costumes of the Turtles. Like, use practical effects when it comes to, like, having people in actual turtle costumes. And for Splinter's rat costume, right? But when you're doing like the actual moves, I feel if you can do it right using practical and CGI, visually would be visually that Ninja Turtle movie could be stunning. I'm waiting for the day when they bring the Ninja Turtles back into live action, where they do bring like the turtles, like having the turtles like using practical effects, and like in terms of like the costumes being kind of like how this trilogy did it with the turtle costumes, but like I said, with that hint of CGI to help like make the turtles do those like stunningly beautiful what's the word? Stunningly beautiful moves that they have. That's just me. But I remember like even though like the baby turtles aren't exactly my favorite turtles, I do remember enjoying them to a fair degree, and I think there's definitely like good things that are in it, sure, but in like I think they're better than the Rise Turtles. Like I enjoyed the Rise Turtles movie, but like even then, like the Rise Turtles ain't like nah. Anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you fellow mutants later. And let me know which Ninja Turtle film, whether it's live action or CGI, is your guys' favorite in the comment section down below. By the time of this video, my favorite Ninja Turtle film is still Secret of the Ooze. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Well, what do you like? Again, what is your guys' favorite Ninja Turtle film? Let me know in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you, beautiful mutants, later. Later, daters.